Hi, here's everything I keep alive. So I've been asked for an animal room tour a couple times now between TikTok and YouTube, so I figured let's just do one today. The first thing, as you'll notice, is this giant pothos. It has been living out of a variety of different fish tanks over the years. It is currently in my goldfish tank. She is huge. That is the dominant organism of this ecosystem. All right, starting with some crustaceans. Here are my dwarf orange crawfish. I love these guys so much. They are so good for tanks. They can be a little aggressive with smaller fish. They can fight sometimes as well. However, I have not really noticed that with mine. They seem to live communally very well. I have this big guppy grass in there for them. They kind of just hide around on it. The babies pick the algae off of it. These rocks in the middle are also stacked up in almost like a pyramid shape, so that's basically a big cave for them to go hide in. Doesn't look like it from the front, but from the side you can kind of tell. They've bred a bunch of times now, so once these babies get a little bit older, I'll be finding them some homes. But yeah, room temperature tank, guppy grass, feed them every day. They just kind of hang out, man. Going down a level. This is my no filter aquatic isopod bowl. There is a bubbler in there for them, but nothing else, no other tech. These guys are awesome and impossible to get on camera. Okay, there is one that looks like an adult. Oh my God, my camera doesn't even want to focus on them. Yeah, they are very small, very hard to find, but super easy to take care of. They're completely freshwater and completely aquatic. The thing about them is that they don't really swim, so you need a lot of plants kind of going all around for them to really be able to utilize all of the space of their tank. Rather than swimming from plant to plant, they will climb up plants like it's a jungle. I got them a few months ago and they have started having babies, so I'm definitely looking forward to having a little army of these guys. This bowl is the same idea as the isopod one, but there is nothing in it yet. Right now it's just Java moss. I'm waiting for it to balance out. I've had both of these bowls going for probably 8 months, but just a few months ago was when the bigger one was finally able to host some inhabitants. This one I don't quite trust yet, so we're waiting on that one. Down here is also a tank that I'm waiting on, as well as some supplies that I need to put away. I have some big plans for this one, but that's gonna be its whole own video. Right now it's just a sponge filter and some crypts and driftwood. Okay, so doing all the fish first, we have my lazy ass goldfish over here. They ate their breakfast about an hour ago, so now they're all just kind of hanging out and resting. They like to do this during the day. I don't have a light on this tank, so it's kind of hard to film. I just let the light from the window give them, you know, a natural day-night cycle. But they're super fun little guys. Goldfish are so underrated, it's not even funny. I also have some giant Danios in here. I used to have 12, however, I have had them for years, so they are starting to age out. However, they had some babies, which I was not expecting or planning. I think you can maybe see them swimming in there. The babies were smart enough to go into this root box and are now living in the pothos roots. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty excited about that. There's also a couple dojo loaches in here, which apparently don't want to be filmed right now. And my male albino bristlenose pleco also does not want to be filmed right now. That's okay. Up here is just a couple more plants that I'm desperately trying to keep alive. I can keep almost any animal alive. Plants? Okay, more fish. This is my Charmy tank. It's a 40-gallon that's just shrimp all the fucking way down. Well, that's kind of a lie now. It used to be just shrimp. Now there is a beta in here and a couple straggler Corydoras. There's my green Cory. He's an old guy. But yeah, these shrimp are amazing. It is so cool to see how shrimp act when they just have a ton of space, a ton of plants, and not a lot of predators. They are always hanging out, always doing something. They're so much fun to watch. Big shrimp tank. Big shrimp tank is the move. For the last tank, I have my least killifish and a bunch of purple mystery snails. This tank kind of looks like shit right now because the mystery snails keep laying eggs, meaning I've had to lower the water level a lot. I have tried to make, I believe it's 4 different lids for this fucking tank, and none of them are working out. So this one's a little in progress, if you will. I am also very purposefully letting algae grow in here for the snails because there are some baby snails in here, and the baby killifish do like to pick at the algae as well. So this tank I kind of let just look like a little mini pond because there's a lot of babies in here. But yeah, that's all that's in here right now, just a bunch of little baby killifish and a bunch of little snails. I probably will be adding something else to this tank once this killifish population really establishes itself. These killifish are not actually killifish, they are live bearers, and they are some of the smallest species of fish that you can keep in a tank. Moving on to bugs. So this is Barbara. She is a pink-toed tarantula. She's full grown. This is her tank. She has a ton of places that she could hide behind all of this corkwood, but she decided to post up right in the corner of the door. So I can only open her cage about this much to feed her. It does look like she's starting another one over here though, which I am pretty excited about. That would make my life easier. But yeah, we love her. She's grumpy. She just wants her crickets and to be left alone. So that's what I do with her. I just give her crickets and leave her alone. Now this bug tank is in the middle of a redesign. So in here is a tailless whip scorpion named Roger. And here's the thing about Roger. When I first set this tank up, I had so many hiding places, dead leaves, dead twigs, corkwood, like the whole 9 yards going in here for him. And then he decided that the only place he likes is this one piece of corkwood and he wasn't gonna use anything else, ever, literally ever. There was one night I stayed up all night just to see if he was coming out at night and using the other areas in the cage, and he wasn't. He likes his one spot and that's where he's gonna fucking stay. So I decided to plant this terrarium. I just threw a bunch of plants in there. Definitely still waiting for them to establish themselves. They look very patchy right now, but it's a work in progress. And as far as getting him on camera goes, I mean, fucking good luck. I barely ever see this guy. Maybe if I shine, oh, there's a leg. Oh. Nope, camera's not gonna, okay. Well, welcome to the reality of exotic pet keeping. You're lucky when you can see them. Okay, coming over here. These are just a bunch of springtails that I culture and I'm gonna start selling online. This is my darkling beetle colony and I call them my rescue beetles. So this, oh, a worm just pupated. So this started when I was working at an exotic vet clinic. We always had superworms in case we had an animal come in that ate them, and a lot of the superworms would start pupating because we just weren't feeding them fast enough. So I would take the, don't eat him. I'm gonna move that guy in a minute. I would take the pupas home and I put them in this little box, and I ended up with a shit ton of darkling beetles. But a fun thing that I learned is that darkling beetles love to eat aquatic plant cuttings. So like I trimmed my guppy grass yesterday and it had some hair algae on it and they are just eating it for me right now. So they're my little rescue composters. I love them so much and they're very fun to watch. Down here is just isopods all the way down. I only have a few different species right now. These are my giant canyons, which are a little camera shy, but there they are. These are my dairy cows, which as you can see have been breeding like crazy. These are my panda kings, which breed a lot slower, but we do have some babies starting in here. I try not to mess with them too much. I try to really give them their peace. And this is my personal hell. What we have here is a combination of giant canyons and dairy cows. And you wanna know how that happened? Here's how that happened. I bought dairy cow isopods and giant canyon isopods online. And when the giant canyons came in, they were all in perfect health, perfect condition. When the dairy cows came in, only one of them was alive. I felt very bad, so I put the dairy cow in with the giant canyons because I was like, oh, it's only one. I feel bad if he's alone. He's not gonna have friends until I can get some new ones. I ordered some new dairy cows from a different seller, of course. That one fucking dairy cow laid a shit ton of eggs and has now taken over what was the giant canyon bed. Don't combine your isopods. Ever. And then over here I have my discoid roach colony, which definitely needs a clean out. There's some big ones in there. Again, I try to really not disturb things unless I have to, so I'm sorry, that's the best footage I can get of them right now. And then crickets. I don't breed crickets because my chameleon just doesn't eat enough to justify that. That's where I keep them so that my cat doesn't attack them. They stay in the closet. My desk, this is where I film, study, use the microscope, etc. And I also have my rescue frogs. These are little greenhouse frogs that fall in the pool. So I go out there every day and check if there's any in the pool. And if there are, I take them inside and I get the chlorine off of them and I put them in here to rehabilitate them before I release them back outside. They eat flightless fruit flies, of which I need a new culture of. Again, don't want to disturb them. So I guess that's kind of just like a trust me bro, but like, yeah, that's what's in there. So I only have one reptile right now and it's kind of a little bit sad. So this is Oscar. He is my rescue chameleon. This is his cage. It is a 2x2x5. It's the biggest Exoterra screen cage you can get. It is all live plants in there. He's got his UVB, he's got his basking, he has a little fan for at night because their temperature actually needs to drop at night. His drippers up there, I mean, he's got the whole fucking setup going on. This is just a pan at the bottom of it to catch the water. So the thing about Oscar is that he was found on the side of the road and brought into a vet clinic that I was working at the time. And he's an old guy. As you can see, he's lost a little bit of weight. He's not as active as he used to be. He was estimated to be about 4 years old at first, and then I got a second opinion on that, and they were like, oh, he's more like 5 or 6. Meaning he is at the end of his life. His expected lifespan for chameleons is usually 7. Sometimes every once in a while there'll be one that like lives to 10. But usually 7 is like the max. So unfortunately he is getting there. We have been to the vet just to make sure that it isn't anything else, and it's not, he doesn't have MBD, he doesn't have any infections, there's nothing like wrong with him other than just being a really fucking old guy. And that's the thing that I just wanted to throw in here. Like, I don't do a ton of animal room tours because a lot of the time I will have animals like this. I have a habit of taking in senior animals or medically complex animals because they need homes and they need someone who, not to like glaze myself, but knows what they're doing to take care of them and give them a peaceful last year or month or few months, whatever, right? So I do take in animals, fish, reptiles, whatever, sometimes who just like need a little extra love. And sometimes I don't have them for very long, and that's very sad, A, to film and talk about, B, for people to watch, and then sometimes also people just don't understand that. They're like, why are your animals dying? And it's like, because they were a hospice situation when I got them, that's why. So I don't always do a lot of animal room tours because I do usually have at least 1 or 2 animals that are nearing the end, and that can be very hard to talk about and also very hard for people to understand, but it's also something that, you know, makes me feel like I'm doing something good and I'm making a difference in an animal's life. So yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. But he's still all right for now, you know, he's just kind of hanging out. He hasn't been falling or anything, and he does still eat just a lot less than he used to. So unfortunately, he might not be my chameleon for very much longer, but for now, he's still happy. Doesn't seem to be in any pain from what me and his vet can tell. So he's just kind of, you know, taking his retirement in there. All right, now let's get into the weird shit. This is an experiment. This is my diatom culture. I do that on purpose, yeah. Green algae under the goldfish. And these are my freshwater dinoflagellates. I have been culturing these guys for a couple different reasons. It's kind of its own video. We have Olive, my big tortellini. Good girl. She's 6 years old. This was my first cat that was actually my cat, not just a family cat. And then we have my absolute unit, Stripe, AKA Stripey, Stripe-a-thur. He's a sweet boy. He's 12 pounds, and he lets you hold him like a baby. He likes it. And then there's my boy Pinto, otherwise known as Pintus, Pintonius, Pinus, Bintus, Venus, Mr. Bean, Pinto Bean. He's a very sweet boy. He's only 2. He likes to climb my shoulder. What you doing? You a sweet boy. Last but not least, we have my boy Homer. Which hand do you want to stand on? Hi. You sweet bird. He is a 31-year-old African gray. He's gonna poop on my floor. Yep, there it goes. I adopted him because his old owners could not keep him anymore because of some health problems that came up for them. He is the sweetest boy ever. He is so smart. We talk to each other. He loves cashews. He loves sweet potatoes. He has a very big personality. Do you want to say some words for the camera? Do you want to say some words? He's like, no, I'm not gonna perform. I swear to God, he knows when I'm filming. He's like, no. But yeah, here's my newest addition. He does have a little bit of health stuff going on. He's got heart disease and a seizure disorder. So definitely a little bit of medical attention for him. You know, we go to the vet regularly, all that. But yeah, he's a sweet boy. Please don't poop on me. But yeah, that is all of the things that I keep alive currently. Probably not the most interesting animal room tour ever. I know that some people were wondering, so figured I would make this video. So yeah, do you want to say bye? He says goodbye. He knows goodbye. Oh! Okay. Goodbye.